space to create far-reaching and often unexpected consequences. Though it may sound abstract, the butterfly effect is rooted deeply in scientific theories, particularly chaos theory, and has significant implications across a range of fields, from physics and meteorology to psychology and sociology. Understanding this concept requires us to look closely at the intricate ways in which events unfold and affect each other over time, often in ways that defy traditional expectations of cause and effect. To begin, let's take a look at the origins of the butterfly effect, which is often attributed to the work of Edward Lorenz, a meteorologist and mathematician whose pioneering research on atmospheric conditions in the 1960s led him to a rather surprising discovery. Lorenz was using an early computer to simulate weather patterns. He entered a series of equations that described atmospheric behavior, intending to produce predictions about the weather. One day, he decided to rerun part of a simulation to check his work, but instead of starting from the beginning, he entered numbers from halfway through, assuming that the results would closely match his previous outcome. But the new simulation yielded a vastly different outcome. Why? Well, as it turned out, the numbers he entered had been rounded slightly, changing only by a minute fraction. That small change, like the metaphorical flap of a butterfly's wings, resulted in a completely different weather prediction. This observation led Lorenz to conclude that weather systems, and by extension other complex systems, are highly sensitive to initial conditions. He later coined the term butterfly effect to describe this phenomenon, suggesting that tiny variations in the starting conditions of a system could ultimately cause large-scale differences in the final outcome. The name was inspired by a poetic idea that the delicate flap of a butterfly's wings in Brazil could ultimately lead to a tornado forming in Texas. Lorenz's discovery wasn't merely theoretical, though. It had practical implications for meteorology, as it suggested that perfect long-term weather prediction was impossible. Even with the best data and the most sophisticated technology, the chaotic nature of the atmosphere meant that any slight change or imprecision in the starting conditions would eventually lead to wildly different weather outcomes. The butterfly effect sits at the heart of chaos theory, which studies the behavior of complex systems that are highly sensitive to initial conditions. Chaos theory is particularly concerned with deterministic systems, which are systems where the future behavior is determined by their initial conditions and set rules. However, within these systems, chaos theory shows that predictability breaks down over time due to the influence of small variations. A key aspect of chaos theory is that deterministic systems, despite being governed by rules, can still be unpredictable because of the compounding effect of minute differences. This contradicts the traditional view in science axis of species and environmental factors creates complex, sensitive systems. Ecological systems are influenced by countless variables, including population size, food availability, climate conditions, and interspecies interactions. Because these variables are interdependent, small changes in one part of an ecosystem can cascade through the system and cause significant shifts. For instance, if a minor event such as a disease outbreak or a slight increase in temperature affects the population of a particular species, it can disrupt food chains, alter competition dynamics, and ultimately reshape that ecosystem. This sensitivity to initial conditions highlights the unpredictability of ecological systems, and it explains why small environmental changes can have large, unforeseen consequences. The introduction of an invasive species, for example, may seem fairly insignificant initially, but it can ultimately lead to the displacement of native species, disrupt predator-prey relationships, and change the entire structure of an ecosystem. The butterfly effect is also present in economics, where financial markets exhibit chaotic behavior. Economic systems, especially in the globalized modern world, are intricately connected through trade, investment, policies, and market psychology. As with weather systems and ecosystems, small changes in the financial world can set off chain reactions with far-reaching consequences. A minor shift in interest rates, a new trade policy, or even a small-scale consumer trend can influence supply and demand, affecting markets around the world. This interconnectedness is particularly evident in stock markets, where seemingly inconsequential factors can trigger major shifts. For instance, one single company's quarterly report might influence investor sentiment, sparking buying or selling trends that reverberate across global markets. The butterfly effect in economics reminds us that while financial systems are shaped by identifiable factors like supply and demand, transmission of infectious diseases depends on numerous variables, including population density, individual behaviors, immunity levels, and environmental factors. Small changes in any of these variables can alter the course of an epidemic. A single infected individual traveling to a new area could introduce a virus to a previously unaffected population, leading to a widespread outbreak. In some cases, the timing of such events is crucial. If the virus spreads during a season when people are more likely to gather indoors, the infection rate may increase dramatically. Epidemiologists use mathematical models to predict the spread of diseases, but the chaotic nature of disease transmission means that minor changes in initial conditions can lead to vastly different outcomes. This is why public health responses to outbreaks must often adapt quickly to changing circumstances, as small factors can influence the trajectory of an epidemic. The butterfly effect also offers a valuable perspective in the study of history and the social sciences. Historical events are often viewed through the lens of causality. One event leads to another in a clear sequence of cause and effect. Yet, the butterfly effect suggests that history is also shaped by countless small, seemingly insignificant factors that can produce major consequences. For instance, consider how a single decision by a historical figure might have changed the course of history. If Cleopatra hadn't chosen to form an alliance with Julius Caesar, the history of the Roman Empire might have unfolded differently. In more recent history, small events such as a chance meeting, a missed opportunity, or minor technological innovation have often contributed to large-scale social and political shifts. The butterfly effect in history reminds us that the course of human events isn't solely determined by major figures or predictable trends, but also by myriad small, interconnected factors that make outcomes uncertain. In popular culture, the butterfly effect has become a compelling narrative device, especially in sci-fi. Movies and stories that involve time travel often explore the butterfly effect by showing how minor changes to past events could lead to dramatic shifts in the present or future. For example, a character might travel back in time and accidentally disrupt a small event, only to return to a world that's completely changed as a result. This theme plays on the idea that actions, even those that seem trivial, can set off a chain of events with profound consequences. The concept of the butterfly effect serves as a reminder that our choices and actions matter, even in ways we may not foresee. It's a powerful reminder that no single introduces an ethical dimension to our actions. If even small choices can potentially lead to significant outcomes, we may feel a heightened sense of responsibility for our actions. While we can't predict all the consequences, understanding the butterfly effect can encourage us to be more mindful of how our behavior impacts others. This awareness can foster empathy and a sense of shared responsibility as we recognize that our choices contribute to the complex web of interactions